I spent 6 days in hospital being induced. I got to basically 10 centimeters dilated and I ended up having to go for an emergency C-section. This is my full birth story. So last week I went to the hospital for reduced movements, and on the monitor they picked up on her heart rate going down to the low 70s again. Now, this happened before, and when it happened, the midwives immediately rushed me up to the delivery suite. It was quite scary. They thought that I would need a emergency C-section there and then, but we listened in for another hour or so, and baby girl's heart rate went completely normal again. They gave me the option to be induced, and I said, abso-fucking-lutely. Let's get her out, let's get her here safely. And they told me to come back that evening where they would start the process. So I went back that evening with my partner, and first of all they examined me to see how far dilated I was, if at all. I was only 1 centimetre at this point, and I was around 39, just over 39 weeks pregnant. So quite respectable, 1 centimetre. They said that there was a shortage on their gel, so it was either going to be between the Foley, which was a balloon that is inflated into your cervix, or it was going to be a pessary that basically produces the synthetic hormone of prostaglandins, makes your cervix really soft in hope that it naturally dilates. Because I was only 1 centimetre, they gave me the pessary, and it's like a kind of string. For me, it didn't look like a tampon, it was like a long elastic band kind of thing. So they shoved that right up there, which it was very uncomfortable. It wasn't like really bad. They kept that in for 24 hours where we would have another examination. So after 24 hours, I got re-examined and I was a whopping 1.5 centimeters, and I was like, oh, because we obviously need to get to 2 centimeters dilated before they can break your water. So the next step was the balloon. Now guys, my experience, I'll always be real with you, I don't like talking negatively about this kind of stuff, but it hurt like a fucking bitch. I got it 24 hours after the pessary, and instantly when it was done, like, it was severe pain. I could not stand up. I was screaming for gas and air, they couldn't give it to me, so I just had pethidine instead. They told me that hopefully the balloon should fall out naturally within 24 hours, and if it does, it's a good sign to show that my cervix is dilating. Or if it gets to the 24-hour mark and I'm still under 2 centimeters, then we will talk about one more attempt of either the balloon or the pessary. It got to 24 hours and the balloon hadn't fallen out, and I was like, for fuck's sake. I just had this gut feeling that I was not going to be 2 centimeters, but lo and behold, we got the examination and I was 3 centimeters dilated. I was absolutely buzzing my tits off at this stage because I was like, yes, they can break my waters. They said it could be between 1 to 2 days depending on how busy the delivery suite was, but lucky me, I got assigned a midwife later that evening. When they tell you that they've got a midwife assigned to you and that they're breaking your waters, I can't tell you the adrenaline. I knew I was going to get upset. I can't tell you how excited I was. This is it. This is the moment I have been waiting for, is giving birth to my baby girl. So we went down to the delivery suite. Does she need a nappy change? Okay, that's fine. Hey, the flash. The flash. Oh. We made our way down to the delivery suite where the vibes were immaculate. We had the little projector on the wall. I think we had a Capital playing. I was like, can I have a shower before, just so I can like shave my vagina? And she was like, yeah, absolutely, go for it. Can't tell you how excited I was in that moment. I was like, oh, what a time to be alive. So as soon as I was freshened up, she was like, let's go for it, let's break your waters. So I was on the gas and air for that, and honestly, I didn't feel it at all. The sensation was really weird. It was like this massive just gush. After that, they said contractions should start within 2 hours, go for a walk, try and mobilise, and it should help things, you know, get moving along. However, it seems my body reacts to stuff very, very quickly, because it did with the pessary, it did with the balloon, and as soon as she broke my waters, guess what, you know what, the contractions started like that. The midwife, bless her, was like, I'm going to go on my break, so go away for 2 hours, and then when you come back, we can talk about any pain relief that you might want then, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, no worries. As soon as she left that door, 5 minutes later, they came on strong and heavy. I could not walk for love nor money. I was screaming in pain. Those contractions are no fucking joke. I remember being on the gas and air thinking there is no way I'm going to be able to do this for hours and hours, and I'd already decided that I was getting the epidural, but obviously I was only 3 centimeters at this point. So because the pain got so bad, we called for a midwife, came back in and they examined me just to make sure, and that is where they told me that I was still 3 centimeters dilated. I was so like embarrassed and I said, is this normal? They agreed to give me the epidural at 3 centimeters because the pain was so severe. When the anaesthetist came in to do it, it took nearly 40 minutes to do the epidural, and it took almost 7 attempts. I'm gonna insert a video now, guys. If you're squeamish, look away, but you can see the attempts on my back of how many times the anaesthetist had to try to do my epidural, because every single time it happened, contraction would come and I had to sort of tense up and sway. Like, it took so long. It got to the point when they said, Kizzy, you have to stay still, otherwise you are not getting this epidural. And that's when my brain was like, no way, there is no way I am going through this pain. I would rather go through minutes of intense pain with not moving and firm getting this epidural. I literally had to be held down to do this, and it was fucking awful. But as soon as I got that epidural, guys, oh my God, it was such a relief. Oh, I actually remember the sensation now, just being able to finally breathe. My contractions started happening naturally, but I got to around 6 or 7 centimeters dilated, where I was no longer contracting. So of course they whipped out the oxytocin drip. Now, because I was on the epidural, I wasn't worried about it and I didn't feel anything at all. Hours and hours and hours went by, and same thing happened. I dilated again by a few more centimeters, and then it stopped. However, at this stage, baby Grace was not happy with this oxytocin drip, so every time I got a boost of it, her heart rate would either go really low or extremely high, and they had to stop it because they just said that it's unsafe. Got to the point where I was 9 centimeters dilated. They couldn't give me the oxytocin drip anymore because, again, baby's heart rate. The midwives called the doctors in and we had a conversation, and they just said, look, bearing in mind, I had got my waters broke around, I think, 11 p.m. and then this was going on until 1 p.m. the next day. She said, we need to get a wriggle on now. You've been in labour for a while. If she doesn't come in 2 hours, we're going to take you to theatre. And I remember thinking, it's all right, it's all right. I was positive. I was like, we've got this. I'm 9 centimetres. I've got 2 hours. I know my body can do this. Did it fuck? In fact, her heart rate got even worse. They actually confirmed that we both had an infection which was causing the high heart rate, and they needed to get me into theatre now. I remember being so scared for my C-section. I have very crazy intrusive thoughts when it comes to major operations like this, and I genuinely thought I'm gonna die. But in the same breath, I was so excited because I was like, this is it. No more waiting game of guessing when I'm gonna fucking give birth. Like, she is coming now. So we got taken down to theatre and they had to redo my epidural because the first one wasn't as effective anymore. Now, I've had a spinal block before with my previous miscarriage where I was numb from about here. But this time I started to feel numb all over. I could feel my hands. My heart rate was slow for me. If you watch my previous videos, you know I've mentioned that I've got a high heart rate. This time it was pretty low for me. And I was laying there, I was thinking, this is it. Like, I said to the doctors and everyone in the theatre, I said, stop, please, stop, I can't do it. It's amazing. They were like, Kizzy, it's fine, you're gonna be okay. You are okay. I couldn't breathe. I was absolutely petrified, guys. 10 seconds later, that is when we heard baby Grace cry. I didn't even know they had made the incision at that point. Like, I thought I was still waiting around for it, and I just heard them say, baby's out, and then I heard her cry, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's here. And instantly, I was okay. I was like, okay, she's here. I've been sliced open and I'm not dead yet, so I think it's gonna be alright. I'm happy, by the way. I'm so happy. That moment when you first see your baby, especially rainbow baby, is the most magical thing you'll ever experience. When I was sewn back up and we got pulled back out, they just handed me this little baby and I was like, wow, you really did exist. You really were in my tummy. Guys, I'm not being biased. She is fucking perfect. She is fucking perfect. After that all happened, we went back upstairs to the ward where I would recover. They like to encourage you to get up and urinate. I think it was 6 hours after the operation. I remember trying to walk after, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I remember trying to go to the toilet and I couldn't go, and I broke down in the toilet and I called for the midwife and I said, I can't do it. You can, you just need to relax. I think I was on the toilet for about 30 minutes trying to just push out away. After 2 days, we was then discharged. Baby girl doesn't have an infection, however, I am on antibiotics at risk of infection. Also now on blood thinning injections for 10 days to reduce any clots, as well as wearing these sexy ass stockings. They are the bane of my fucking life. If anyone's had them, you'll know how hard they are to put on and off every single day. But now we are here. Baby Grace is home. Things are amazing. She is amazing. I can't stop staring at her. I'm so in awe of my body. Like, I fucking love my body. I am so proud of myself. That I'm producing milk. The fact that my stomach is healing so nicely. I'm mobile again. Women are amazing. And I would just like to say that Wayne has been fucking amazing throughout this whole thing. I could not have done this without him. Finally, I am not kidding you guys, I could not have been a Brave without you guys. So grateful for this platform where I can document things like this, and you girls are so empowering. Ever been so grateful, overwhelmed by how kind strangers, even though I don't feel like we're strangers, I feel like we're all one big community and friends, can be to someone online. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I know a lot of my lovely ladies on here are expecting their baby very soon, and let me tell you, I'm so jealous of you. Enjoy these last weeks, months, however long you've got left of your pregnancy, because the best day of your life is coming. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll chat again soon.